Thank you for watching this introduction video to the Science of Self curriculum. The key question here is, who is our self? Who are we truly? Most people are spiritually asleep, meaning they are not aware of who their true self really is. That is why in the ancient temple of Apollo at Delphi there was an inscription when you entered into the main hall, and above that door was written in Greek "Gnoti Seoton", meaning in English "know yourself", because only through self-knowledge we can understand who we truly are. And that's the only way to become spiritually alive. In order to find the truth, there was 1.5 centuries ago written a really interesting book, a marvelous book written by this man under the pen name of Lewis Carroll. And the title of that book is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And in that story she had to follow the right white rabbit. And that idea was also used in the film The Matrix. The main character in that film also had to follow the white rabbit. And that's exactly what we do in the Science of Self curriculum as well. The first step we take is going to level 1 of this curriculum, and that is about ourself, understanding all the concepts related to ourself. Next, we learn to understand the patterns underlying our person. The third level, we will discover our own nature. Based on that distinction between nature and person, which is essential, we then can learn how to ascend, how to bring our consciousness to a higher level, increasingly. And finally, that will enable us to become spiritually awake. That awakening is gradual. There are multiple awakenings, so to say. So there are 5 levels in this curriculum, and each level contains also 5 modules. So in total there are 25 modules. When we talk about ourselves, there are many concepts that are misunderstood. For instance, the word spirit and the word soul both come from the Bible, but the original meaning intended in those stories has been lost. And now people give their own interpretation to what this should mean. But that is incorrect. So finding a way out of this land of confusion is the subject of the first level of the education program. And next, at the second level, we will delve into what our person is. And it is about personal development. But when we investigate this word, development, it is actually de-envelopment, meaning we remove what is surrounding us in order to see what is really there. And also in the song by Bruce Springsteen, he sings, "I'm just a shadow walking through my life." And that is very correct, because the shadow is somehow not showing who we truly are. It's in the song Streets of Philadelphia. And we use in this curriculum the Enneagram to de-envelop our personality. After we have done that, we go to level 3, where we see who we were when we were born, because we were all born with our own nature. And that nature is then growing, just like the caterpillar is growing. But the caterpillar is not who we truly are. Underneath it, there is the potential to become a butterfly. And the butterfly is really showing our true colors, our nature. And that is also what is underneath the pyramid of needs developed by Mr. Abraham Maslow. But what even he didn't understand is the first 4 layers are all about the caterpillar stage, ending at level 4 with self-esteem. But the self at self-esteem is not the same self as the self at level 5, which is about self-actualization, because that self is the self of the butterfly. So there is a major distinction between these two, and only if you have disconnected from the caterpillar stage, so to say, then you can step up to level 5 and become who you truly are. And that's also the idea in the movie The Matrix. Yeah, the series of movies about this. Because ordinary people are still spiritually asleep, and that is depicted here in a very technocratical way by sleeping or lying down in this cocoon thing. And only when he spiritually woke up, he started to realize this, the main character in that movie. Yeah, you can say when he was sleeping, he was still Mr. Anderson, but the moment he woke up, he became Neo. And that is possible for every one of us. We can all become our own Neo, our new self, which is actually our true self. And in order to understand that, there are many models developed in ancient times to help us do this. For instance, this model, most people refer to it as the Kabbalah, but in ancient Egypt, which was named Kemet, the Black Land, it was named Paut Neteru. And the Paut Neteru is enabling us to understand who we truly are. And the same is true for what is called the astrology based on the Tzolk'in from Mesoamerica. Yeah, you see a stone of the sun, which was made by the Aztecs based on the ideas of the Mayas. Or when we look at ancient Greek numerology and also how to transform or to relate each letter to a cipher. That's called gematria. All these methods are enabling us to see our own nature. And the same is true for what is called the Bagua. Yeah, the methods that are based on this. The same is the Lo Shu, but that's the numerological version of it. Yeah, Lo Shu Magic Square. And for instance, also Chinese astrology is very helpful to become aware of our nature. Plus, of course, our natal chart. There is so much information here, but are you able to fully grasp what is there? At level 3 of this curriculum, you will be able to do this for yourself, because the basic principles of all these methods is fully explained to you. So then you will be able to grasp your own nature. And that is necessary. Without a distinction between your person and your nature, nothing is possible. Because only from your nature you can ascend, you can develop, not from your personality. And that is what we learn at level 4. We learn what ascension is all about. And we do that by using the texts from the Bible. Many people think the Bible is a fairy tale book and they put it aside because they think it's not for them. Or other people take all these stories literally and they believe that this is a kind of historical document. All this is wrong. This is so wrong. The Bible is actually a manual for ascension. But you need to somehow crack the riddles that are in this book. And that it is a riddle book is also mentioned twice in the New Testament, because there we read, "Seek and you shall find." So you must seek the deeper meaning in all these remarkable stories. What we do in the curriculum is we'll discuss the first 120 verses from the Bible. So then we talk about Genesis 1 verse 1 until Genesis 4 verse 24. Here we go verse by verse, word by word through these texts in order to find the underlying meaning. That is done in level 4, but mostly in level 5. And at level 5, at the last module, we will also look at the 5 chapters from the second book of the Bible, Exodus, chapter 7 up to 11, because in those chapters the so-called 10 plagues are described. And the meaning of these plagues is also revealed to you in this curriculum. So the Bible is one of the 2 pillars underneath this curriculum. The other pillar is the life work of this man, George Ivanovich Gurdjieff, and he called his life work the 4th way. Many people follow this 4th way even nowadays, but I can assure you that is not really helpful, because also the 4th way is a kind of a secret way. I can call it a mystery way. You need to uncover, you need to solve the riddles that Master Gurdjieff left for us. And that is also what we do in this curriculum. You will see the real meaning underneath the 4th way. So if you're familiar with this or you want to learn more about the 4th way, then this is also an excellent curriculum for you. And you will be astonished, you will be marveled by what is really there. That's all about ascension, and that will enable your own awakening, your spiritual awakening. And then the Bible becomes a kind of living document. It's a manual that you can use for your own ascension, for your own awakening. And the same is true for the 4th way, or maybe any other sacred book that you know. You will learn to read this with new eyes, because now you have found the key to unriddle this. And that unriddling is called also white magic, because it is about the applying of this knowledge to yourself. Then you will become a sorcerer. You'll be able to create your own reality. If you want to learn more about this curriculum, then go to the website pateo.org. There's much more information about why and how we made this curriculum. The main reason for doing this curriculum is about our own reality, because you and everybody else is living in its own world. But we are unaware of this, because everybody else is living in their own reality. We think that we know what others think or do or whatever, but it is all colored from our own perspective. So it's very subjective. For instance, if we are this man on the right-hand side, we experience our day as a beautiful day. But at the same time, the man on the left-hand side is experiencing his day as a very severe and harsh day, with lightning and thunder and so on. How is this possible? It's because we live in our own bubble. And that is also why there is so much miscommunication going on. We use the same words, but we mean something different, and we're not aware of this. But there is a way out of this. There is a way out, because we can somehow go to a higher level of understanding. We can climb the stairway to heaven. And actually, there is more than one heaven to climb to. Especially religious people, they think they will go to heaven after they die, but that's a major misconception. You can only go to heaven while you are still alive. That is the most important thing. Before you die, you must reach at least one heaven, and hopefully even more. So we can leave this bubble, we can step out, but we need help. Just like Neo in the Matrix got help to get out of it. And that help is offered to you by this curriculum. And that help will then enable you to go to higher levels, to higher heavens, to higher realities. Because you will ascend to a higher level of consciousness. And you will also connect with your inner child. You will fully understand who you were when you were born. And that child is still there. And that child wants to connect, but we are afraid to do so. Through this curriculum, you will also learn to be able to do this, to dare to open this door to others if the environment is safe and good for you. And that is the only way to liberate ourselves. Self-liberation. And that is always based on self-knowledge. There is no other way to get out of this cage or bubble than through self-knowledge. And also that is in the matrix. Almost everyone experiences life as a war of attrition. Because you get tired, it costs you a lot of energy and you don't see any progress. I'll put it differently, it is a kind of rat race and it's impossible to get out. Well, it's not impossible. There is a way out. And that is what this curriculum is offering you through understanding, through consciousness. And when you have reached a higher level of consciousness, then you will be able to co-create your own reality. You become a conscious creator. And that is totally different than being pushed around by external influences. Almost everyone is hiding behind a face, a mask, not showing your true emotions, your true thoughts. But how much is that helpful? It's a kind of survival technique, but that's not really what you want. There is a way out, this curriculum. And through this curriculum, you become who you truly are. You can transform yourself from caterpillar into this butterfly, but only through self-knowledge based on a structural and methodological approach. And there is no such thing as guessing. This is all based on hardcore science. That is the science of self-curriculum. If this is somehow appealing to you, you want to learn more about this, then check out the website, pateo.org. Thank you very much for watching this introduction video.